everybody.
Good morning.
It's great to be here. Wow. All right, so welcome to day 3 and the final day of IX Hackathon 2019 Code Connects Us. It's been such an awesome event so far, and we can't wait to see what all of the teams have built. Today, our 10 finalist teams will be showcasing their hacks and the incredible work that they've done over the past couple of days. Everybody in the audience and on the live stream, make sure to pay close attention because at the end of all the presentations, we'll actually be voting on our favorite hack. And then we'll all be doing our part in determining which team goes down in the IX Hall of Fame history of Hackathon.
That's right. We are live streaming all the presentations, so everyone is voting. It's not just about the people in the room. It's everyone that's watching it in all of the offices around the world, except maybe Sydney. They're probably asleep. Once we get through all of the finalist presentations, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be joined by our CTO and VP of Engineering for an awards recognition ceremony for our amazing engineers. But first, we want to take a moment and thank all of our partners that helped make this event amazing throughout the whole journey. And so to kick that off, please welcome distinguished engineer, head of IX Labs, Myron Yogaraja.
Morning, everyone. I've got printed paper, no confidence monitor from me, so I'll be reading. Before I get to partner recognition, there's this one thing I'd like to do. I would love it if everybody from Workplace Canada could just raise their hands, please. You're here somewhere. I just want to recognize everybody in Workplace Canada, in particular the Workplace Hackathon team. I specifically want to call out Ritika, Holly, Jade, Ingrid, and last but not least, Michelle Watt, whose vision is really what brought this event to life, whose tenacity is what made this all happen. So please give them a huge round of applause. You know, as I look out at everyone, I see the enormity of the event that this has become. I'm just amazed at what's happened. I'm in awe, and we couldn't have done it without you. There would not be a hackathon without you, so thank you very, very much. Now, as I said at the beginning of the event, a big part of Labs is the partnerships that have formed through it. And I want to take a moment to recognize the partners that have come by today. People always ask me, what is it like at Index? What is it like to work at Index? And really, the best way to see that is to be around us, to get a glimpse of what our culture is like. And I hope that, you know, events and moments like this give you a little bit of what that's like. I hope you enjoyed the event. I want to give a shout out to all of our partners from Ryerson DMZ, Mars Discovery District, Ryerson University, University of Toronto, TechTO, TO Hacks, and last but not least, the Knowledge Society. Thank you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Knowledge Society and how they sort of came into the fold. This is an organization that specializes in growing 13 to 17-year-olds into superstar, rock star leaders. And I want to take a quote from one of the students yesterday who said that most of the world's problems exist today because there aren't enough smart people out there to solve them. And that's what this organization does. They build really, really smart people, really, really smart leaders to try and attempt to solve these problems. And I think it's amazing what they're doing. I think their vision is amazing. So I just want to give them a shout out for that. Frank's been calling them the human accelerator, by the way, which is kind of nice. So the story, you know, how they ended up here is kind of a cool story as well. Frank and I were on the judging panel for a hackathon earlier this year. And I was upstairs, I was having lunch, and a very curious, a very eager young man approached me, and he struck up a conversation. We got to talking, and he said, you know, I'm from this society called the Knowledge Society, and there's a lot of people like us there. And I said, I've never heard of the Knowledge Society. And to be fair, it turns out they hadn't heard of Index Exchange either. So from there, we got to meet Jennifer, and who's the head of partnerships, and she told me so much about the organization, and it really made me want to get involved with them more and help them out and help elevate their team. To that end, I'm thrilled to announce that IX Labs will be making a donation of $6,000 to this organization. We love your vision. We think the work you do is important, and we want to do our part to help. And I'd like to call up the co-founder, Nadeem, and Jennifer, the head of partnerships, to come up and say a few words.
Guys, this is awesome. So Naveed and I, when we started TKS, the idea was how can we completely rethink the way young people learn and develop, specifically to solve really hard problems in the world, right? Like Marion said. Part of it is training the knowledge, skills, mindsets, and networks that they need to do that. And you can kind of do that in theory and in practice. That's one thing. But it's another thing to actually apply it in real-world scenarios, working with people who are double their age on actually really important things. And so huge gratitude on our part for allowing us to participate in this and the support that IX has given us. And Jen can talk a little bit more about the partnership and how we're working together.
Thanks, Nadeem. When you're living day-to-day in the tech and innovation world, it seems that everyone is talking about supporting innovation and supporting the community. But for Index Exchange to actually invite a team of young innovators that are still teenagers to be the first external team to participate in their hackathon truly demonstrates their commitment to innovation and supporting the community. And so that's why we're super, super excited to be partnering with Index Exchange, not only today for the hackathon, but moving forward in all of their amazing endeavors, including IX Labs. So we're super excited. Thanks again for allowing us to be here.
Thank you. Back to the MC.
Myron. And thanks to the Knowledge Society and all of our partners for supporting Hackathon, Index Exchange, and IX Labs. So now it's the moment that we've all been waiting for all week long, our finalist team presentations.
It works. There we go. The way it works is every team's going to go up and they get 10 minutes to present and showcase what they've been working on. That's kind of all there is to it. So once all the teams go, again, we'll take a break and then voting will commence. So stay tuned. And let's get this started. So first team up, please welcome Team Sabotage.
Woo!
Hello, everybody. Oh, this is a huge stage. We are Team Sabotage. We have 8 engineers in our team from 6 different teams and 3 office locations. We're here to talk to you about IX Appreciate. So before we start, I'm going to give a quick story. So a few years ago at an Index Exchange, I had a period of time where I was working really, really hard. I had more than dozens of projects working simultaneously, and it was very exhausting. And for me, I can't sustain that for a very long time. So this kind of slowly drained me day by day, and before I was at my tipping point, my manager at that time, who was John, sort of called me aside privately and showed me all kinds of appreciation and thankfulness for all the hard work that I've done. My peers also noticed that I was struggling, and they also gave a lot of help. So with that, all of that reminded me of everything that sort of is important to me, right? Why I was willing to put in the extra hours to do this. And it reinvigorated all of my energy to get the job done. So here's a slide. You guys probably might have remembered this. This is from Ike's voice. So wanted to focus on the sort of the bottom 3 areas: social connection, collaboration, communication, feedback, and recognition. So not only these areas are low, as you could probably tell from the right side, it's trending downwards. And this is not great. There's a clear gap here at IX that we need to improve on these areas. So we wanted to create a social platform that allows people to give recognition very easily. Giving recognition, we know, is often uncomfortable. It's not easy, and it doesn't always have to be formal. And it definitely shouldn't have to wait for a yearly event like after the hackathon for someone to be recognized.
And so, introducing IX Appreciate. IX Appreciate's goal is to promote an environment of mutual support and recognition amongst colleagues. So it's a platform that helps indexers recognize and appreciate each other's through nothing but their fingertips. And it's easily able to see all the great things that all your other colleagues are doing too. So we wanted to focus on recognition because a lot of studies show that, more than more money, more benefits, and so on, what people actually care about a lot more than anything else is actually being recognized by their peers. And not only that, though, we've seen that in addition to recognition, it gives an employees a desire to work harder. And what we find is that employees who are in an environment where they do feel recognized and they feel that people around them appreciate them, actually find a lot of meaning in their work and and feel like what they do matters. And so we think this is kind of the pinnacle of what you can get out of work. And so we decided to create IX Appreciate. So we're gonna head straight to the demo now. This is the link that everyone now can go participate in. If you go on your phones, go to
if you have your phone,
ixappreciate.life. You'll be able to log in. We'll keep that up there maybe 10 more seconds before we head to our demo.
Yeah, so if you have an Index Exchange email, you can just type in your Index Exchange email. If you don't, you can use the email below, guest@indexexchange.com. Yeah, so let's jump into the demo.
Cool, so I've already logged in onto the platform, and the first thing I can do is I say I want to appreciate someone. I'm going to go to the Appreciate tab, and now I'm going to decide, Ran helped me, give me the courage to do this presentation. Couldn't done it without Ran, so I'm going to go ahead and appreciate him for being caring.
Likewise.
I'm going to say Ran, I'm going to add a comment. Ran really cares about my well-being and my success, so thank you, Ran. Just going to add a comment there. And I'm going to go ahead and appreciate, and so great, my appreciation has been sent. So now I can go look at the feed and see all the different things people have recognized each other for. There's my most recent appreciation of Ran with the comment and everything. And yeah, look, we're getting more and more people appreciating each other.
People appreciating, nice.
This is good.
They're coming in. Woo.
So much support.
Yeah, so here's a chance to show some appreciation to our colleagues, for the people that are organizing the event. Anything really. Oh wow, a lot of appreciation.
Ran, you're real popular.
Thank you.
Cool, we'll keep that up for maybe one more minute. Yeah, we got time.
Yeah. Anybody else you want to show appreciation for, John? John?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to appreciate our whole team. Everyone in the back that was not presenting worked very hard. We stayed up until maybe like 10 on the first night, so that's some strong hours worked. But also all the organizers, all the managers who came roaming around asking questions, as well as those children from.
Seeing from all kinds of different faces, it's great. A lot of people are getting shout-outs. I'm just going to ignore my face for now because I don't know how real that actually is. Or maybe it is real. Yeah, we're just going to let that run for maybe another minute or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all kinds of people. Don't just recognize me. So all kinds of people, your team, your managers, anybody really. See a lot of Meebo. Shout outs to Meebo. This is great. I did not expect so much participation. All right, so we're gonna cut off this. You guys can continue to appreciate, but we actually while you guys are doing this in the past 3 minutes or so, we actually generated some stats about this. So we're gonna call up Vera, who is on stage with us to tell us all about it.
Yeah. So first, where's our medals? First medal to the person who hasn't been has not been afraid of demonstrating appreciation, and there's a lot of people who should guess actually won. But the first person is Kevin Lee or Light. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your last name. So participation award. Congratulations.
Go Kevin.
Then the person who received the most appreciation that's not Ran is Tarsi.
Tarsi.
Yeah. Go Tarsi.
So we could actually see all of the comments that was given to a particular individual. So let's, not Ran, or Ran, I guess.
We had a total of 88 demonstrated appreciations, and
I got recognized 16 times.
33 different people. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very caring, Tarsi. Congratulations.
All right, so let's go back to the slides.
All right, so to close things off, we have a great quote from a famous philosopher. Recognition develops habit, reinforcing the good work that has been previously achieved and encouraging positive behaviors to continue. So that was a great quote by no one else but Ranley, of course. And so, yeah, that concludes our presentation. You know, keep recognizing people, be humble, and go Team Sabotage.
Thanks so much, Team Sabotage. Your name is a little bit different than your hack that you did. Now I want to welcome to the stage Team Leggo My Eggo. Woo!
Hello. People are coming.
Hello.
That's better. All right. Hello, everybody. Oh, that's the clicker. All right. We are Team Lego My Eggo. Nice to see you all here.
We're missing one of our
yeah, we're just waiting for the deck to come up. Oh, perfect. Okay, it's good. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're Team Lego My Eggo. We're just going to start with some quick introductions.
Hi, I'm Brody. I'm a software engineer out in the Kitchener-Waterloo office.
My name is Ryan. I'm a product designer here in Toronto.
My name's Denis Cormier. I'm a software engineer, and I'm working out of Kitchener.
Okay.
I'm Elaine, also a software developer in Kitchener.
I'm Kenzie. I'm a product designer in Toronto.
I'm Ian from Montreal office, software engineer.
And I'm Cameron. I'm a co-op student who started here 2 weeks ago as a software dev in Kitchener. Woo! Yes!
Yay, co-ops. We love them.
Where do I point this thing?
Oh,
okay.
there we go.
All right, so for anybody who doesn't know, this is an icon for a Slack app. How do I go back now? Okay, this is an icon for a Slack app called Donut. Index Exchange is planning on integrating this app in about a month's time. And what it does is essentially it'll take two people and put them in a group chat and recommend that they go out for coffee, trying to get them to talk to each other. And we said, well, and then what? I don't know what goes on there. So we see a few problems with this. Problem number one, the company is growing. You can't know everyone. Index Exchange, I've only been here 2 weeks, like I said, and I've heard it about a handful of times, is that you guys are almost 500 employees now. It's just not feasible on a human level to get to know 500 people intimately. Problem number 2 is connecting with IXers can sometimes feel forced. So whether it's through events like this one, the hackathon, or it's through an app like Donut, sometimes it just feels like it's a little bit harsh, you know, just getting thrown right in there and forced to be social. Problem number 3, there's no incentive to follow through. You get 2 people in a chat, and it's kind of that awkward silence, like who starts, what do I start saying, I don't know, like it's recommending we go for coffee, or I could just go for coffee and work on my busy stuff because I'm working. So this is where our solution comes in. Sprinkle. Yeah, sprinkles on the donut, okay. And then, so it's a solution, it's a Slack app by IXers for IXers that breaks down organizational barriers, brings people together intentionally, and incentivizes fun and meaningful connections. So I'm going to pass off to Ryan for a product demo.
All right, I'm going to walk you guys through this off stage here. Okay. I'm going to need this section. Thanks. That's okay. Okay, going to launch this. Great. Okay, so let's imagine, you know, you're looking for an application, something like this, something fun that can help bring you together with people you might not know, maybe in your company. I've done some searching and I've come across on the Slack app directory, much like the Google Play Store or Apple App Store, this app called Sprinkle. And I see, you know, break the ice with Sprinkle. Sprinkle connects people who don't know each other well on teams of all sizes. It uses text-based games as icebreakers to facilitate forming relationships. That sounds good. I'm going to install that, connect that with my Index Exchange network. And oh, great, congratulations, Sprinkle is now installed for your team. So I'm going to launch Slack, open up Slack, and oh, look at that. I've got a message. Looks like Sprinkle's already matched me with a bunch of people. Who is this? Okay, I've got like 8 people in this chat. Let's see, hello and welcome to your shared space. I hope you're excited to get to know your colleagues. I've got some instructions here for how to launch. I've got some controls, and I've got some recommendations for how to use the application. So in the instructions it says type/sprinkle, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I see launch a Sprinkle game to play with your colleagues. So I'm going to launch that. Oh
dear me, I'm going to go see what's happening over there. And by the way, hello.
I promise this worked literally 2 minutes before we came on stage. And of course, with demos, that's always how it's going to go, right? But we're going to get this running, and we're going to see that hopefully we're going to get a little bit of an icebreaker going in this group. But while they're doing that, so my experience, let's say I didn't know any of these people. Let's say I hadn't just spent the past 2 days working with these people intensely on this thing that's failed. Let's say that I'm in my home office in Kitchener-Waterloo, and I don't know Ryan because he's in Toronto, and I don't know any of the folks in Montreal either. And I just, oh, what's this? Like, I come up here, and I have a new chat on my Slack, and I have a bunch of people, and it's telling me to go for an adventure. Well, let's go, because that sounds fun.
Our Slack integration fell asleep, if you will.
So we have a little bit of an adventure here. It says, you stand in the foyer of the IX Hackathon. What a well-put-together event. There's a snack table, there's an elevator, and there's some doors to the hack room. Well, guys, where should we go? I can talk to these people and figure this out. And somebody's saying the hack room sounds interesting. So maybe let's go to the hack room and find out what's there. So now we're in the hack room. It's busy and your station awaits. I hope we have everything we need for this hackathon. So what should we do here? And I can click the options on my phone, and I can see the same options that are being shown up there. And guys, where do you think we should go? What should we do here? The station? We could try examining the station, sure. Let's see what happens when we do that. We go to our station, and we find a phone with Lisa's number on it.
Yes, so at this point, I'm just wondering who this Lisa person is. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, suggest that we phone. How about, yeah, you get the idea. How about we phone? All right. And we got lively Lisa. She was distracted, but she's on her way now, and she's ready to present anything. So we're ready for the demo at this point. But I just wanted to also elaborate that this type of discourse, it just brings people together. It doesn't necessarily force an interaction, but it just brings everyone together for some good laughs. And now I'm just going to talk a bit more about the tech stack. One technology we used was Golang, just to prepare a web server as part of our Slack integration. Really convenient technology that we all knew about, so that's why we picked it. And I'll hand it over to Brody to talk a bit more about a unique file format that he developed for the text-based adventure.
Yeah, so rather than programming in, that isn't like hard-coded into Go or anything. I used JSON to make a custom file format to express these text-based adventures. So I was able to whip that up in about 100 lines of JSON. There's a full adventure there. Maybe we can, if anyone's interested, we can invite you to our little Slack workspace, and you can go through the adventure on your own. But the cool thing about that is anyone could write one of these adventures. We could perhaps pull from a database of these adventures to keep it fresh each time, and we could have the bot serve up a random one each time to keep things fresh.
All right, so we did some research as well, and there's a couple competitors in this space. We've already mentioned Donut, which is something we're going to be integrating with. But Donut's pretty simple in how it operates, and we think we can do better. Additionally, there's a couple other Slack apps out there. One's called Irwin, it's a puzzle app. One's Say Your Own Adventure, it's more of a text-based adventure app. But we think we've sort of taken all of the best parts of these, implemented them in our application, and improved on them. Where we think we have an advantage is that our application is intentional in the way that we're connecting people together, breaking down barriers across the organization, in this case Index Exchange, allowing us to connect people from different departments and teams, doing so in an engaging way where you're not just being arbitrarily matched and then expected to just figure it out. We're helping sort of facilitate that engagement through a delightful experience that's multiplayer in nature. Could be 2 people, could be many, as you saw. And it's also cooperative as opposed to competitive, so you're encouraging people to work together. So what's next for Sprinkle?
Well, we've considered adding a few features. We want to improve our matching. We want to improve the randomness so it maybe gets people that you don't already know, so maybe less truly random and more directed random. We want to improve it to be on an automated schedule. We want to consider maybe having a leaderboard for people who have completed a lot of these adventures and met a lot of people. Yeah, and maybe even get it out onto the IX Slack.
Yeah. All right, and that was Sprinkle. Woo! Woo! And we're Team Leggo My Eggo. Make sure you vote for us.
Name.
Leggo My Eggo.
Thanks, guys.
Woo!
Thank you, Leggo My Eggo. We're just going to take a couple minutes, get things set up for the next team. I need to fill some time, and I didn't really think about it, so I'm going to share a story. This whole event has felt smooth, but something bad happened in the very beginning. It was 9:40 on the first day, and we're at the breakfast area having coffee, whatever. And I'm sitting down, it's 9:40, at 10 o'clock, we have to get ready to go up and, open the hackathon. And I'm sitting down, and I go and greet someone, and in the process, I knocked over coffee. And it just went everywhere. Like, it was nuts, just all over. So, that was super stressful to start this off. Luckily, we're right next to the hotel, so I was able to make a run for it, but it was a tough start, so I had nothing else to share, so you guys know that now. But I think, thank you. I really opened myself up here. I think we're in good shape now. The next team is ready. I'm not in good shape anymore. So, without further ado, please welcome Team SCXC.
Thank you so much, Paul, for that warm welcome and funny jokes. All right, so we're team SCXC. We are the solutions consultants, and we represent England, America, and Canada.
Thanks. So imagine here, you are the Mexico, and there are thousands of people in the convention center. Because of that, the Wi-Fi is a bit rubbish, very slow, or maybe you're visiting from abroad and you don't have the luxury of having any mobile data. So how do you access interactive content without an internet connection?
So ideally, every visitor to the Index Exchange booth knows everything about us. They've read every single KB document, they've watched every video so that they can have super fruitful conversations with our representatives. But that's not always the case, now is it?
No, it's not. So let's imagine now that you have a booth at the Mexico and you really want to connect your visitors to the information and the documents you have to offer. And you want to do it in a way that is easy to digest and in a way that people can keep the information at all time with them. And all that, again, without an internet connection necessarily.
Enter the Tesseract. So you might be thinking, why did we call it the Tesseract? Well, for those of you that aren't aware, a Tesseract is a cube containing an infinity stone representing the fabric of space. So if used correctly, the Tesseract can open gateways into other universes and allow you to do interdimensional travel. So what we've done is we've created a way to allow users to enter into other universes that have been set up by each of the owners of the conventions.
That sounds amazing, but how does it work?
Great question, and I'm so glad that you asked. So when a user comes into close proximity of the Tesseract base, they'll receive a push notification letting them know that localized material is available to them.
And that sounds amazing. So concretely, on your mobile phone, how does it look like?
All right, so let's extend the example of the Mexico to showcase the UI. So when a user opens the Mexico app, they'll be redirected to the main splash page of the Index Exchange booth. So here, you're going to find information about speakers, who's speaking, where they're speaking, bios of the speakers, et cetera, et cetera. So you can kind of think of this as the main splash page that we typically publish before events. This serves the same purpose as that. So moving on to the next tab, here we have content. So this is where users will be able to interact with our content that's relevant to the specific event. So they'll be able to download or just view different white papers and watch different videos. So let's just say that someone wants to read up on adaptive timeouts or watch a whiteboard video prior to speaking with Gabe so that they can actually provide more fruitful conversations and ask the proper questions while they actually are in the presence of Gabe.
Hang on. Wow, what was that? Did I just receive a notification to say there's drinks in 30 minutes?
You did. So we will be using push notifications to let users know about different events, where they are, what they are, and to also let them know about any updates that we have since the last time that they visited the booth. We'll also be adding different functionality for interactive maps or dropping digital business cards for the purpose of future networking. So now that we've gone through the demo, I have a couple questions for you, Fred.
Please, fire away.
All right, so why did we go with Bluetooth?
Well, quite easy. With Bluetooth, you don't have the need to have an internet connection. So you don't have to worry if your internet connection is a bit sketchy or if your booth is located in a Wi-Fi blind spot. Also, the interesting thing with Bluetooth is that you have to be near the device in order to be able to connect to it. So that introduces a location fencing so that only pertinent data from the booth is accessible to you. And to me, because you have to be in person in the booth, that's already the first step to engage people in the booth. So it's a way to bridge the offline and online world.
I really like that. So kind of connecting people digitally and physically.
That's right. And if I can just add one more thing about the Bluetooth technology we're using, we went with the Bluetooth Low Energy, which is the one where you can really seamlessly connect to your device, a bit like your Fitbit, for example.
Awesome. Okay, so that makes sense. But why did we go with an SDK rather than just making a web page?
Great question. So all these events already have an app, an existing app. So there's no need for a user to have to download another app that they have to install on the top of the app they already downloaded. So just using an SDK, you extend the functionality of an existing app. So that makes things easier. Also, being native on the OS, the notification system, we take full advantage of that. And lastly, I think, maybe in the future, we'll be able to have a vanilla app that will be able to connect to any of our devices.
Cool. So I think I'm done with my questions for now. So why don't we pass it off to Jeremy for a demo? And for purpose of the demo, I represent the Index Exchange booth at Demexco.
Come on, Jeremy. So it's complicated technology, all warming up at the back. Oh yeah, so I should explain actually, because obviously, there's no camera, so we are putting the phone on the screen there, we're casting.
Hello everyone. So, as you can see on my screen right now, I have the very official Digital Marketing Expo and Conference app.
Super official.
Super official. You can tell because it says on the screen. So, I'm walking around Demexco, and I'm navigating using the official app, the map on it. I may be looking at the agenda to see when the speakers are, and I'm looking to see where the booths are. And as I'm walking around, I come maybe close to the Index Exchange booth.
Hi, I'm from Index.
Hi, how are you? And, oh, what's that? The Demexco app has let me know I'm near the Index Exchange booth and let me know that there's a world of content I can connect to. Very subtle notification lets me know I'm here, and I can interact with Aaron, or I can ignore Aaron, and I can look at the booth content we have available. So I can see the speakers, I can see the content available. I can maybe read a white paper on Publisher Sonar. I can download this, I can look at the booth map, and I can even connect and send my business card over to Index Exchange for them to reach out to me later after the conference. So this app is not a trick. It's actually detecting the Bluetooth low energy field given off by our Tesseract device down here. The Tesseract is a Raspberry Pi 3B+, emitting a Bluetooth low energy peripheral hotspot, if you will. The tech stack that we have here is we're using the Cordova cross-platform mobile app framework, and we're using a plugin for Cordova to use Bluetooth Low Energy, and we are using Python on the Raspberry Pi with PyBlues to provide a Bluetooth peripheral stack.
Cool.
Aaron?
That sounds super interesting. So why don't we take it back to Bluetooth Low Energy? So why did we actually go with that, and what's the range for that?
Okay, so Bluetooth Low Energy is just a little bit different from Bluetooth. What it does is it gives us the ability to connect without pairing. As you guys probably know, with Bluetooth, it's kind of a faff. You have to go into the settings and pair. We wanted some way to be able to transmit data digitally using wireless technology that's seamless. You don't have to pair it. It just works out of the box. The range of Bluetooth is theoretically up to about 300 feet or 100 meters for you Canadians out there.
We love Canada.
But we can tune the signal strength to kind of geofence the area of which the app pops up, so it can be more like maybe 10 or 20 feet.
Cool. All right, so Fred, you kind of mentioned other applications, so can you kind of expand on that? Let me know what we're thinking about for the future.
Yes, absolutely. So there's lots of ways we can extend these sort of geofencing applications. One that I can think of is museums, for example, where you don't have to bother with the cumbersome sort of material. You can just walk straight to an interesting part that you want to find out more information, and you'll get more information here and there. Also, in some countries, the infrastructures maybe for internet is not great. So, using Bluetooth technologies, you are able to access digital content without the need of the internet. And to me, it's in line with our value of caring. So that I quite like that.
Awesome. Super excited for the future of our product. XDSC out.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Wow, thanks so much, team. I couldn't help but think that Tesseract was kind of a risky name because I think Thanos is actually looking for that stone, for any of you Marvel fans out there. Anyway, I was pretty proud of that joke, I have to be honest. Next up is the Nonsense Factory. We're really excited to see what they've built, and we're hoping that it makes some sense.
Hello, Index.
Oh, all right. Good morning, everybody. We're Team Nonsense Factory presenting Neighborino, a revolutionary day in the neighborhood. My name is Nick.
I'm Adam.
And you can't see me right now, but I'm Stefan, and I'll be running the demo.
All right, so before we begin, I want to share a quote from our great comrade, Mr. Fred Rogers, who says, "Real strength has to do with helping others, which is why I love Neighborino." So what is Neighborino, you might be asking yourself? Well, Neighborino is a space to share what the neighborhood has to offer. So if you've grown too many vegetables and you want to give some away, or you want to lend out your seat on your commute to work, or even just offer to mow someone's lawn, Neighborino is there for you.
All right, so there are a few important concepts that we were thinking about when we were building this. The first one, it's about what's local, essentially. It's about your community. It's about the neighborhood. So this isn't about necessarily having something and sending it off to a stranger somewhere that you're never going to meet. It's about, something that you've got, that your neighbor's got, and you get to go and meet that person. You get to go meet your neighbor, and you get to know them. And then second of all, it's about contributions. So we didn't want to necessarily make this about money. It's not just another way to order a taxi or order a meal or something like that. It's about things that people already have. So maybe you have an extra seat in your car and you want to give somebody a ride. Maybe you have extra vegetables you grew in your garden. Maybe you just want to lend somebody a hand. But it's about concrete contributions. And then last but not least, it's about recognition. So we wanted to be able to recognize those who contribute and basically give a shout out to those people who are contributing to their neighborhood.
All right, now it's time for a quick demo.
Okay, so we find ourselves on the landing page where we have a few images of what Neighborino has to offer, like fixed things, lots of veggies, and car, question mark. If we go to my profile page, we can see I'm logged in as Sterik Kisani. I have 456 points, which means I've been recognized a lot of times for the good things I've done for my community. I have several badges to show for that also. If we scroll down a little, we can see where I live, right near PVM. And the little black dots show a few of the things that my community has to offer me. So if we go to the Your Community page, we can see a few of those things. So someone might have grown an extra pumpkin. Someone might be driving downtown. Someone might be giving away furniture. So if I want to go downtown too, even though I already live downtown, small detail, I can see that Datum, a user with 10,000 points, he's very trustworthy, a very good person, is driving downtown. He has 2 spots, so I can accept his offer of driving downtown. And after he's driven me downtown, I can either thumbs up or thumbs down. I like the ride very much. I appreciated what Datum did, so I can thumbs up, and Datum's score has gone up to 10,001, even better. If I go back to the community, I can also filter the offers by different things. So I might want to filter by furniture, and oh look, thousands of spiders with a bonus vintage sofa. Nick is giving this away. So if I accept this offer, oh look, thousands of spiders all across the screen. Nick is also 1 point away from getting a badge, so when I thumbs up Nick, he gets a badge. And if we go over to Nick's profile, you can see that he has his badge waiting for him the next time he logs in. That wraps it up for the demo. Send it back to Nick and Adam.
All right. Thank you, Stefan. A bit about our tech stack. We use React for the front end. Golang is what is running the API. We use Kubernetes for deployment. We also use MySQL because we needed a database. We've used at least one computer to build this and an infinite number of spiders.
Shout out, by the way, to our ops rep, Chevo. We've been able to make all sorts of fabulous last-minute deployments, thanks to our fabulous CI/CD stack. But yeah, there's a number of places we could take this. Here are just a few of our ideas. Some things, of course, come with a real cost associated with them. So it'd be possible to acknowledge that you spend money on gas, you spend money on maintaining your car, whatever it is. You could have a kind of credit system for that. Second of all, community doesn't necessarily mean just one thing. People have communities based around their homes, yes, but they have communities based around school, based around work. So you might want to acknowledge all these places. We'd like to have a little bit more about how do you acknowledge, the leaders in your community, who's contributing and what are they up to, and many more.
All right, thank you for listening, and welcome to the neighborhood of the future.
Thank you, Nonsense Factory. Quick announcement. I know we have a few of our partners who need to be leaving. If you could please join Myron at the top left to go outside for a photo shoot, that'd be great. Because, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And we also need our photographer, Derek, because it's going to be hard to do this without you. So, thank you. Did you guys have fun last night? You had fun. You were louder last night. I had a pretty good time. I think this morning could have been different. What I think I needed is actually what is up next. Please welcome Team Advil.
All right, thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Hi, everyone. We're Team Advil, and we're here to talk to you about Stork.
I don't have the clicker. Next slide, Jordan.
Oh.
Does this photo look familiar? You had plans on a Friday night. You had to cancel them. You couldn't find a babysitter. You're stuck at home having to take care of the children.
Yeah. Sorry. But Ian, do you have children?
No. Do you?
Nope. And I don't think any of the members on our team do either. Yeah.
How do we know we're building the right thing?
Well, we actually went out there and we talked to indexers who are parents, and we got their input.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
This happens all the time. It's so hard at the last second. We have our few babysitters that we always use, and they're great, but they have plans on Wednesday nights.
Because at the moment, obviously, the pool of people that I can trust is very small.
As we finish this conversation, I'm going to jump on the call and see if I can get someone to cover, but if not, then I'm going to have to miss the presentation.
So, from what Ronnie's saying, it looks like it's really hard to find babysitters, especially when it's short notice. And from Fred's input, this looks like it's a global issue.
Yeah, so we want to turn that into this. This can be your new Friday nights. Maybe you want to have a walk on the beach, maybe nice dinner, a drink at a pub. How are we going to do this?
This is where Stork comes in. So it's an Uber-like service for on-demand needs, but a LinkedIn-like network of trust to connect parents with babysitters. So like we previously mentioned, we talked to a lot of parents out there at the Hackathon, and there are three main pain points that they always experience when trying to find babysitters. The biggest one is trust. It's hard to find babysitters you can really trust with your children when you're going out. And the other is the scheduling and those conflicts and payment.
So when we built Stork, we wanted to focus on those three areas, but with a real emphasis on trust.
So we built a network of trusted babysitters through Stork. And to maintain a high-quality pool of sitters, we implemented ratings and reviews. And to display like a lot of the diversity of babysitters we have, we included features that would display experiences, qualifications, and skill sets. You might want a babysitter who knows French, or maybe a babysitter who has experience working with children with ADHD. So we want to make sure we have all that information in our app so you can choose the correct sitter.
You mentioned reviews. How can we trust reviews with all those internet trolls out there?
It's a good question, Ian. That's why we have two different kind of reviews. So we have the global reviews, what you mentioned, but then we also have trusted reviews. So trusted reviews comes from reviews and ratings from your immediate connections. So you're more inclined to trust reviews from your family and friends, or maybe even other babysitters or neighbors. So that's where, so we have trusted reviews to kind of tackle that. And that's really what sets us apart from other apps.
And next we built scheduling. So as you can see from that video, there's sometimes some last-minute scrambles. You have to find someone. What our app does is allow you to handle this without having to make tons of phone calls, emails, calling everyone you know to try and find someone. You put into the app that you want a babysitter. We'll find you one that you trust. Hopefully, you also maybe think ahead every now and then and you want to book a babysitter maybe for next week. We can also do that. You put in what day you want to go out, and we'll find you your preferred babysitter.
Ian, do you have cash on you?
Never.
So how would you pay a babysitter if you were to look after your niece and nephew?
E-transfer?
That's a 50-cent charge each time. So that's why we're really focused on bringing the quick and easy payment methods to Stork. So it's as easy as possible for the parents using the app. And from a sitter's perspective, we want to make sure that if they get a request from a parent very last minute, there are chances for them to make some extra money. So we're implementing SIR pricing and integrating with multiple different payment providers. And so we really, we dreamed big here, Ian. Our vision for Stork is a lot of stuff, but we only really had 2 days to implement this. So what did we do?
So like I mentioned on focusing on trust, we wanted to start off with building that immediate network. So that's your friends, family, coworkers, who you know and you trust already. That's your immediate network. And then moving it one layer further from that. Their mutual connections, maybe it's your mother's friend, someone you're more likely to trust than some stranger. We introduced that rating system we talked about earlier. You have the global and not. And then also the seeing based off the preferences, language, skills, any specializations, in an easy-to-view profile page.
And now to the demo.
Hello, everybody. I'm here to show you what's happening under the hood. So this is a very simple user interface landing page. We can go ahead and log in to see what Stork has hidden for us. Email address and very secure password, because this is your child we're talking about. Okay, so right here, this is our profile. This is the profile of me as a person that is requiring the service of a childcare professional, babysitter, nanny, whatever rings the best. Here we can see that in this case I have 2 twins and another child, and I do have some preferences. I would like the babysitter that I'm looking for to be able to speak French and also do some basic work around the house. At the bottom we are seeing the people that I know. These might be the people, parents that I made connections with in kindergarten, parents that I made connections with in a park while playing with kids. Ultimately, these are people that I made connection with. So their reviews have a much higher weight, on my opinion, than 55 random people that reviewed a person that is about to take care of my child. Second option that we have in the top left corner is the scheduling. So as it was previously mentioned, the scheduling, oh, you went for it. That didn't work in the last branch for sure. So the scheduling would help us with figuring out not only the availability, but a potential change in pricing, or as Uber likes to call it, the surge pricing, where price would be higher if we are getting closer to the event. Ultimately, the main point here is the rating system, these 5 stars. You are rated as a parent. Ease of working with your children is rated, but also you can see the rating of any professional that you're trying to work with. So let's search for a professional that can provide us with vegetarian cooking options. Okay, Khaled Said, let's see what he has to say about this. So while Khaled potentially might be a good babysitter, there is nobody that I know that knows Khaled. So he does seem like a shady choice in this situation. We are going to go back. And we're going to try Sarah Smith. Let's see what Sarah Smith has to say. So Sarah Smith definitely is a vegetarian cook, but also Stephen and Emma Wilson had something to say about her experience before. And now I know that I'm potentially it's going to be a much easier choice to make to go with Sarah than it was with any of the previous choices that were just voted by random people. And now I'm going to have David Coe help you explain how all of this was built.
I only actually have 10 seconds, so it's important to me to tell you guys that I'm David Coe from Operations, because I only have actually 10 seconds to tell you that we set up continuous deployment and we have persistent storage on Cloud SQL, and we use Django and Bootstrap, but yeah, that's it.
We're not done. Oh, sorry. 2 seconds. So there are other babysitting apps out there, but why did we build Stork, Ian?
Let's take a trip back in time to 2008. You know, there's
Okay.
phones available, MP3 players, day planners. Why make an iPhone? If you can put something together in a nice package that people enjoy using, you can change the world.
Makes sense. So I guess fast forward a few more years. Prebid had Wrapper, correct?
I think so. But if I remember, we also made one, and I think it was pretty awesome. What made it awesome?
Index.
And that's what's going to make Stork awesome, using the same values and talent that built Index to build out Stork. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Wow, thanks so much, Team Advil. I almost wanted to sign up for Stork, but only if I could be ensured that I'm babysitting Frank's son. So next up is the board identity. I'm really excited for this presentation because it seems like they're incorporating something identity related. All right, so here they are.
Hello, we are the board identity, and we're here to present our hack, Missing Link. So we are addressing homelessness by connecting people through code. So a quick little background on why we chose to do this and why it matters. So 3.5 million Americans experience homelessness every year. That number sits around 235,000 in Canada. 1 in 3 Americans are 1 or 2 paychecks away from homelessness. And the public cost of homelessness is around $35,000 to $150,000 per person. So homeless people face some barriers when it comes to reconnecting with family and friends, which could potentially be an avenue out of homelessness. Those barriers include low digital literacy, access to technology, maybe they've just lost their contact info, or feeling ashamed or embarrassed to reach out for help. So there's an existing nonprofit organization called Miracle Messages that is kind of working on this problem. How they do it, they have volunteers who will go out onto the street, will find a homeless person, ask them, is there anyone that you want to reconnect with, even if you don't know how to reach them? So then they take down some information of the person they're looking for, record a short video message, and then they have teams of volunteers that spend hours just scouring the internet, going through social media, just trying to locate the person they're looking for and deliver that video message. So it's a lot of time and effort. So our team, we thought, could we automate this? So now introducing Missing Link. Missing Link leverages identity for good, taking the information that we've collected from the homeless person on who they're looking for. We will create audiences and then use targeted ads to hopefully reach the individual that the homeless person is looking for. So now we'll go through our mobile website. So this is from the perspective of the volunteer. They're out on the streets, have just met a homeless person who's interested in the work we're doing. So they sign into the app. Here they can see all of the open cases. They hit create a new case. Now here they'll fill in some information on the homeless person. Note at the top that we'll be calling them a client. It's just more like dignifying in that way. So we have their name, location, hometown, and then what's the best way to contact them. 3 options for that: caseworker, shelter that they go to, or a cell phone if they have one. We just provided these 3 options to really just account for the diversity of the people we could be meeting. Next, so yeah, here's the information filled in. The volunteer would take a photograph of the homeless person, and you'll later see that this photo gets turned into a creative. Next step is to record some basic information about the person that they're looking for. So name, age range, last known location, gender identity, options for which will of course be inclusive, and then relationship to client, so father, son, cousin, friend, and these will be drop-down options just to prevent the data from getting too messy. Next, here's where the targeting really comes in. So the volunteer will kind of go through this with the client and ask, what are the interests of the person that you're looking for? So we have some broader categories: sports, entertainments, hobbies. Then the volunteer will quickly just kind of tap through the interests of the person they're looking for. And then we'll record a video message once that's all uploaded, video uploaded, and then finished. So this whole case will get submitted to our servers, and then we start creating the audiences and the targeted ads. So now I'm going to walk through the experience of being targeted and seeing those ads. So this is from the perspective of Franco, who our client Luke, who we saw on the previous screen, is looking for. So Franco is browsing the web, going through a few websites. He decides to go to New York Times, and then right here he's being targeted. So there's an ad at the top: help Luke from Toronto reconnect with his father Franco. Franco decides to check out the weather. He's being targeted again. This time he decides to have a closer look at the ad. He looks at the photo. He sees it's a picture of his son, who he hasn't seen in 18 years. This is a surprise to him. At this point, he's getting very emotional. So he clicks on the ad, gets directed to this page here, kind of tells a bit of Luke's story, says that he's looking for his father. His father watches the video where Luke says how much he misses him. He wishes he could reconnect with him. Getting even more emotional at this point, Franco clicks on Help Luke, fills in some of his contact information, and a message, Luke, I'm your father. Submits that. All of this information gets sent to our team, and then a volunteer would work on reconnecting the two. They have their meeting, there's a lot of happy tears, it's a happy reunion, and eventually Luke moves in with his father. So now I'll pass it to Johnny to explain the tech.
Thanks, Kaylin. So I'm just going to walk over the tech, how exactly that's going to work. So we're going to start off with the service worker, in this case helping Luke. They're using the mobile app to set up a case. They're going to also enter Franco's information. And then so once the case is created, all that information will be submitted to our Connect service app, missing link. Our Connect service app will then do most of the heavy lifting of getting this campaign to Franco live. So first, it's going to create an audience through one of our identity providers like Merkle or LiveRamp. An audience is just, simply put, it's so we know a bunch of the users that browse the web, and we're able to put them in very specific buckets. So in our case, Franco, he's age 50 to 60, he's male, frequent shopper of like Home Depot. So we'll create an audience for that. Merkle will then upload that to our Index Exchange ad platform. And the last step is for our Connect service to put the bidding rules through a DSP so that when Franco is browsing the web, if our ad server is able to match him, the DSP will be able to respond back with the campaign. So we have a recorded demo of what that's going to look like. So right now I'm a service worker. I'm helping Johnny Homeless. He's age 27. He's currently homeless in Toronto, Ontario. So we're just putting this information in our mobile web app. And then, so I'm Kaylin. I'm the service worker, and my phone number is 6. We're trying to reconnect with, I forgot his name, Daniel. Yes, we're trying to reconnect with Daniel, last name Chung. He is aged 23. His last known location was Markham, so this is all very useful information that could be used to create, audiences to target. He's my long lost son, he's Johnny Homeless's long lost son. He has interest in swimming and soccer. Nope, not soccer, cycling. And now I'm going to record a personalized message in hopes that when he sees the ad that he'll see me. I mean, Johnny Homeless. All right, so now it's being uploaded. Hit submit. Cool, so everything's set up. And now Alex is going to walk through what it's going to look like for Daniel.
Yeah, so user, I think name is Daniel, browses website, and so at some point they get targeted through identity. So they browse this website and they see this ad, get very surprised, see this face. They click through. So see some technical ad server requests here. So they click through and go to the landing page. And in the future, hopefully it's going to be enough information for them to connect to their long-lost father, and hopefully it'll be a happy end.
All right, that's our demo. Thank you, everyone. Word of board identity.
Thank you, the board identity. Hello again. Since we last spoke, I can confirm I have not spilt anything on myself, and I think you'll all be proud of me. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was going for. Aw, thank you. So far we've seen 6 fantastic presentations. We've got 4 more left. I just want to make sure we're keeping a good energy level. So can you please make some noise? There we go. There we go. And welcome, team. Are we getting paid for this?
Okay, so firstly, we never got an answer. So, yeah, somebody. So we have maybe 4 or 5 different versions of our product, and it's kind of an abstract thing. And we have no slides, so bear with us. So what we're doing is we have the idea behind this is that when you're trying to communicate with someone, you have a mental image you're trying to kind of convey to the other person so that they can also imagine what you're imagining. They have a different mental image. And you're trying to describe this with words, which are not always, they're not always enough to describe the image to the other person. So our idea was to have a stream of images that come up kind of in between the two mental pictures so that you can communicate more effectively. So some sort of objective middle ground, a running commentary on what you're talking about, which you can see going on behind us. And so this is kind of an imperfect process, and our development process was also imperfect, as you will see. But it's similar to kind of the agile method that we're all familiar with, all the engineers at least, in that we don't really know what the product is supposed to be at the start until we see something, and then we can comment on it. We can say, no, I don't really like that. I wanted something else. And then we can adapt to that and continue. So that's the kind of general idea, and you'll see how far we got in a minute. Some examples.
Let's see if anyone recognizes this one. Anyway, like I was saying, shrimp is the fruit of the sea. You can barbecue it, boil it, broil it, bake it, saute it. There's shrimp kebabs, shrimp creole, shrimp gumbo, pan-fried, deep-fried, stir-fried. There's pineapple shrimp, lemon shrimp, coconut shrimp, pepper shrimp, shrimp soup, shrimp stew, shrimp salad, shrimp and potatoes, shrimp burgers, shrimp sandwich. That's about it.
Hello, my stage name is Diesel Engine, reading for the role of Morpheus. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill and the story ends. You wake in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill and you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Thank you.
So how do we get this to work? We tried a whole bunch of different approaches, different technologies. Initially, the idea was to just build the whole thing on the front end in JavaScript using the Google API to parse the speech to text and then parse the text through an API to get some images. We ultimately settled on a back-end approach to incorporate some natural language processing. So our front end is now running a JavaScript web recognition kit. It has settings for different languages. The text will be sent to our Python backend, where it will be tokenized into different words. Part of speech will be applied to it. We'll grab adjectives and nouns, and that will be run through an API to grab whatever image becomes available. So we don't really have a lot of control over what we're showing. Thank God there is safe search, so we can actually present this without fearing too much. And once we have all of that, we package that in a JSON, and we send that back to the browser where we have this jQuery canvas. It's very distracting, this. Where we have this jQuery canvas that will display the words and the pictures that triggered the pictures. Thank you. And that's kind of being refreshed on the go. Every time there is a gap in the sentence, it will start to kind of visualize what it got back. Different settings that we have. This one, as you can see, it's kind of fast. It basically, every word that it catches, it will immediately try to visualize. With a gap, it tries to actually show a full canvas. Sure. Let's move on. We have another version because we kind of wanted to connect broader. So we figured it's nice to also see if we can do different languages. So this is the We're Getting Paid for This app. On the other tab, if Thomas can switch it. Wij krijgen hiervoor betaald. It's our Dutch version. This one actually waits for full sentences and then displays it one at a time, so it's a little bit less rushed. I can talk a little bit about some fairy tale in Dutch and kind of see what I get back and see if you guys can kind of see what's going on. So if Thomas can start. Is it on? Roodkapje ging met een mandje vol eten naar oma. Demos, am I right? The fairy tale of working demos. This one will take a little bit to train on the Dutch lexicon. It did work. Just too slow. Maar in plaats van oma was daar de grote boze wolf.
And what is that? What are you saying?
Sorry?
What are you saying?
That was Little Red Riding Hood. We'll do the demo offline. For anybody interested, you can come find me. I'm sure we get this to work. I will pass the mic to Thomas, and he can close this off.
Yeah, sure. So you may be asking yourselves, well, what are the applications of this? And that's a great question. I think a couple of the big ideas that we had when putting this together was that I think something Paul brought up was this would be a great thing to be able to have if, say, you walk into a mall and you go to one of those big interactive directory displays, and just the ability to be able to say, I'm looking for a pair of shoes, and then be able to kind of narrow it down just by giving it kind of keywords that you can say, like, I'm looking for a pair of shoes, and then it'll pop up a whole bunch of images, and you can say, no, I don't like those shoes, like I want a black pair of shoes, or I want a pair in leather, or whatever, and kind of having that visual representation of what you're looking for that you can then kind of be given directions to whichever store is carrying that pair of shoes, for example. Another great application would be potentially for learning a new language, like we can see with Dennis's example, if that ever worked. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got up to. And are we getting paid for this? Thank you.
Wow, that's super impressive stuff. I can't believe that was pulled off in just a couple days. Our next presentation is by the alades, which they're referring to ice cold beer in Spanish when they're saying that. But I'm really looking forward to their presentation, and I think it will be interesting given some of the latest political news that we saw last night.
Hello, morning, might be afternoon, not sure. So I'm here representing Team alades, and we're going to talk a little bit about our hack. Or are we? There we go. So for those of you watching abroad, we're currently in the midst of a Canadian federal election, and you'll see these all the time floating across all the news. This is grabbed from Twitter. You see these standard sort of polling results where, you know, you see the top two parties in a very tight heat and some of the other parties sort of changing their support on a daily basis. How many of you have ever woken up in the middle of the night wondering, how do they really calculate this? Okay, so it's just me. All right. So just to give you a bit of insight here, this is sort of the traditional approach, right? Where they call people, they ask them targeted questions. And I think the most important here one back, see if this works. There we go. Important thing to note here is, with all due respect to the statisticians, 400 is a very small number considering there are 30 million people in Canada. So when we're trying to interpret this data, we're really trying to understand, you know, the sentiment of the population. Taking 400 people and extrapolating that, it's very difficult to do. So, you know, if you compare this to something like Twitter, right? And something Twitter, more than half of Canadians are actually active on Twitter, and half of those are actually very active on Twitter. So wouldn't it be interesting to sort of think about how you might leverage a platform like Twitter to generate sentiment about elections, about election parties? And I know what you're thinking. It's a 2-day delay. We're all okay with 2-day delays in data. Why do we need our data any faster? Right? But wait a minute, if I'm not on Twitter, how could that possibly represent the real view of all Canadians? But we're going to take a better look. That was sort of the motivation behind what we're trying to do here. And we're not the first people to sort of consider how the impact of Twitter can actually affect election outcomes. A lot of active discussion about this. I think we're all very aware of how candidates using Twitter can sort of move markets, can change voter sentiment. Elon Musk has tanked his shares a number of times. SEC is not amused. But it probably works in both ways. So you can also imagine simply that, you know, what people are saying and where they're saying it can also help change sentiment. You know, a lot of people are getting their news from social media, and getting a better sense of exactly what other people are thinking and specifically where they're thinking of is sort of what gave us the inspiration for our hack. So that was our objective, right? to couple the Twitter API and Google Maps API and really understand where people are supporting the political parties and how that changes over time. And maybe we can actually generate insights even faster than that, and we can extrapolate to different user bases as we move along. So what did we do? I mean, 3 major steps, right? Number 1 is we had to figure out some sort of classification of what a vote would be. The second one is simply to figure out how to map those onto, well, the map. And the third one is simply to figure out if we can measure changes in sentiment using this platform. So, who wants to chat a little bit about that algorithm?
I guess I can do it. First, we start looking into Twitter using their API. It's a lot of data, so you need to start somewhere. We need to refine that data. We are using hashtags, but also we are using geolocation, so it makes sense. We can get all the data we want, but if we don't know where this is coming, or where is these people, we won't be able to pinpoint what we are trying to look into. Then we segregate it based on the hashtag itself. And then once we have processed that data, we are able to do a visualization in a map. In this case, for our MVP, we just did it for provinces. That's pretty much it. We analyzed between 15 to 20,000 tweets. So pretty much that's it.
Okay, so Sinua, you can pull up the demo and you can walk us through it.
Okay, so can you go up a little bit first so we can explain the pie chart? So this data, it's for a given data we did. Given certain limitations we have with the API and the rate limits, we just did it for a day. But eventually we will be able to do it real time or near real time. In this case, we can see that before yesterday's scandal of Trudeau, seems that the Liberal Party was winning a little bit across Canada. It's a good visualization if we want to know what's the general feeling of the country, and also by province. The idea is that once we can refine more the product, we could see by regions or like kind of zoom into each one of the regions. Can you just click on, for example, we have the numbers of how is it doing per political party. We can start growing this as much as we want. It's not limited to Twitter. We could change the backend and take any other social media we can or we have access to. And also it's not limited to, our MVP is based on political, the status of the political campaigns, but it could be used for any other kind of feeling or intent on society in general.
So since yesterday evening, actually something interesting happened in relation to Canadian politics. So one image of Trudeau, actually a video I think, of Trudeau surfaced in which he was dressed in a blackface and then with an afro wig. So since that video has become viral, his approval ratings have gone down, and this is a comparison that we did. This was from yesterday afternoon's analysis. We see that the Liberals have majority, and this was run today morning since the video came out, and then you can see the Liberals, their share has gone down. So this actually is one thing that shows how effective this app can be in real time. Bad luck for Liberals, but we could actually show how effective it is for us. It's pretty good. Probably next, Ronnie will take you to the next one.
Yeah, so you've heard a little bit about this so far. Obviously, we were caught a bit off guard by Twitter's rate limiting for the public API, so we couldn't do as granular distribution as we want, and real time wasn't really possible. That'd be an obvious next step. And sort of be able to plug this in and understand trends, right? Sort of the replay the screenshots that Vikram was sharing, just to sort of understand exactly how this changes over time. Getting better statistical fidelity. People who tend to tweet a lot. So, how can we sort of denormalize that to make sure we have a higher fidelity data set? Right now we've curated hashtags as our MVP. You saw in the previous presentation how valuable and how powerful natural language processing can be. We can obviously do that and increase that so it doesn't have to be manually curated. And I think you've heard also from Jorge that, the fact that we applied this to elections is just currently a current use case, but really you can apply this arbitrarily, anything you can extract out of Twitter. Yeah, just want to thank my team, and we'll let you know in 31 days if we were right.
Thank you, Team alades. I did not know what that meant, so thank you, Catherine, for the vocabulary lesson. I can't wait to have an alades after this. I had too many alades last night. I think I'm using it correctly. We've got 2 more presentations. And next up, we have our very first external team joining the hackathon, right? Historically, it's been strictly index exchange engineering. I was on the Knowledge Society's website the other day to just learn a bit more about what they do, and there's one section where you can read up on some of the profiles of the individuals of that team. Don't check that out unless you want to feel really bad about yourself and start questioning all of your choices. Please welcome the Knowledge Society.
Our education system today is fundamentally broken. The way that we're teaching things just doesn't make sense. The incentives aren't aligned. And generally, compared to a lot of the jobs that are actually out there in the market, we don't have enough people with the right skill sets that are actually willing to learn. And that's where a lot of the issues start to happen. There's tons of reasons that attribute to why this is actually such a huge issue. One of these issues being student debt. The levels of student debt have been absolutely tremendous. The number is crazy high. But let me try and paint this picture for you today. So let's say you go to the store today and you want to buy a really, really expensive car. Let's say you wanted to get a car that looked like this. This would cost you around $2.5 million, so it's pretty high. But we can take this a step further. If we just look at the income of LeBron James, it's around $36 million. Absolutely insane, right? And then Toronto Raptors, their evaluation is literally $4 billion. That's $1 billion. It's insane. And we can take this a step further and look at Jeff Bezos, right? His worth is literally $113 billion. But that's not a lot in the face of student debt, because student debt is actually $1.3 trillion. And it continues to increase every single year, which is exactly where a lot of the issue comes in. So yeah, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And the reason why student debt is actually so high is because university is just super expensive. Imagine if you were living in a developing nation today and you wanted to go to a really good university. First of all, you might not have the right infrastructure to walk to school every single day. And then second, it would cost you tons and thousands of money. In the US alone, it actually costs around $200,000 to go to university for 4 years. So think about this, right? Like, you're going to university, paying tons and tons and thousands of dollars, first of all, and then you come out of university with a ton of debt. and you don't know how to pay it off, you're spending maybe 5 to 10 years of your life trying to figure this stuff out. It's absolutely insane. And then the companies are still lacking a ton of talent, which makes no sense. We have this huge pool of jobs, and then we have a lot of people that are trying to get jobs, but out of all of these people, a small fraction would actually have the right skill sets to attain these jobs. But we all want high-paying jobs, right? We want to live a sustainable, we want to live a happy life where we're super excited every single day, and a lot of that comes by not having financial worries. So we have people that are willing to work hard. They're willing to learn the skill sets. We're just not teaching them in the right way. Let's look at online courses, for example, because one of the largest issues that I've noticed even personally when I'm trying to learn something new, even as developers, you guys probably feel this, when you're trying to do an online course, you really lack community. You don't have people that are similar to you, like-minded, working towards similar goals. So this leads to 3 things. One being the lack of mindset. And then second, just being not having the right amount of motivation to keep learning. And the third, just being tons of ambiguity. It seems super complex, and you're like, what the heck is all this code? How am I about to learn this right now? It's really, really hard. For this reason, only 4% of people actually complete online courses. This makes no sense. When have we ever accepted a 4% efficiency rate in our society? 96% of people have a hard time doing an online course. And this is exactly why our team at the Knowledge Society got super excited about this issue, and we wanted to figure out how we could solve this. And then that's how we came to create TKX. Super creative name, just combined the Index Exchange and TKS. But how we did this was by creating a platform which actually partners you up with world-class mentors, so people that are working in the field. They curate all of this course content, and then you're partnered with this mentor to work on a project which has a flexible timeline. So imagine being able to literally personalize the way your education system looks. This could be 2 weeks, maybe 10 weeks, whatever the heck you want. And then after you find that mentor, you can enter into a job marketplace to apply for a part-time or full-time job, or your mentor might even hire you. So let's look deeper into how this actually works. We got interested by this issue because we felt that there's tons of potential in the world to solve it, but also because we want to be able to give access to everyone with high-quality content. There's tons of content out there right now, but it's not really high quality. And that's exactly what we wanted to solve. We also want to be able to connect people with world-class mentors and create that community that I was talking about earlier, where everyone just feels super excited, super pumped, and imagine just seeing like people that are just similar to you, that are learning every single day, and that motivates you to keep going and keep learning. We want to help people develop real-world skills so we can solve that gap between jobs and skills that exist today. And we want to do this by creating high-quality content, regardless of what your background might be, your socioeconomic background, your culture, where you were born. And one thing we really value also is just transparency. So we want to do this by creating a personalized plan so everyone can curate their own timeline, is working with the right people that are the perfect match for them, and then you're creating tons of skill sets that you can use to obtain a job that you actually enjoy. So the process between this, which I kind of already explained a little bit, but if we just think about how it works, is you have 2 people coming onto the platform. You would have a mentor and you'd have a mentee. So as a mentor, what you would do is you would go onto this platform, and let's say you had a project, you had a deadline, and you wanted to complete this. So you would post it out. Let's say I'm looking for a full-stack developer. And then a mentee would be someone who would fill in their profile requirements. So maybe I am someone who has tons of experience with web development. I've done full-stack development, and I'm interested in developing my skills. We would have some sort of algorithm working in the background to partner up these 2 people, and now you can see that someone has put in a request from the mentor side to partner with you on this project. And then once you figure that out, you can also create a timeline. So you can learn at your own pace, whether that be like 2 to 10 weeks. And then you're developing tons of knowledge, working with people on similar projects, and you're immersing yourself in this really supportive community. After you've done this project and you've completed it, now you have this portfolio of this really awesome project, you've developed your skills, you can get a job through a mentor, or you can apply through our job marketplace, which offers tons and tons of jobs. So I also want to talk about our financial model and the way that you would be able to pay for this. I think one of the biggest things and benefit of this platform is actually this idea of income sharing agreement. So literally anybody can go onto this platform right now. You don't have to pay a single penny to go on and start developing your skills. How this works is through this process called an income sharing agreement. And this process is really interesting because what we're really doing is allowing anyone to come on and not have to pay until you get a job. So that's TKX, that's us. What we're doing is we're giving you the education, we're giving you the services to learn, and then we help you get a job, right? So every step of the way, our goal is to literally help you get a job. We're trying to help you become a better person and grow in your technical skills, so it's highly likely that you're gonna get a job. Once you get a job, let's say that's over 40K. What you can start to do is pay us maybe 10% of your income. And then this would be spread across, let's say, 10 years. So once you pay that off, then you've pretty much completed your process with us at TKX. And so that's pretty much what our platform is and how it works. This issue is super exciting, and our team is super excited to work on it. We have some people in the back that will be doing a quick demo of what the platform actually looks like from a mentor and a mentee side. So let's check that out.
So we're going to be going through our platform super quick. So we're going to start as a student. I need to find a mentor because I want to get paid. So I'm going to go find my mentor. Log in. This is my dashboard. So here you can see I've already been on the platform. So I have some job opportunities from Shopify or Canada. You can also take a look at some of the different areas I've been focusing in. But I want to see what else is available in the job market. So we're going to take a look. Ooh, SpaceX, Pied Piper, the NBA, President of the United States. None of these jobs really interest me that much. I want to learn some front-end dev, so let's go to training. Yeah, front-end dev. Let's take a look. So this content has all been curated by mentors. So I'm going to take a look at HTML basics. Find some online content, go through that. Cool. So after I've gone through all the course content, I can now connect with a mentor.
All right, cool. Now let's go over to the Zoom link. Just give us a second. All right, so basically, so right now we're going to be using Zoom to connect to a different computer since we want to basically show you the entire flow of a user and a mentor. So just give us a second while we open up the Zoom link. Yeah, hackathons, you already know. I've been told to make a joke back here, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so. All right, cool. Just give us a second. Can you see? All right, beautiful. Now we're on the other computer, and now I'm a mentee. I'm just going to head over here, find my mentee. Just give me a second while I log in. Bam, now I'm into my dashboard. I can see that my current active students, Vishanth, as well as my position and other applicants that are coming to my platform. So I'm going to go ahead and connect with my students since I've been notified that my student has tried to connect with me. So now we go ahead. Oh, give me one sec. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's get into our platform. So now we've created a two-sided platform where both I could show my student what's going on and teach him some lessons while he's also interacting with the browser as well. So basically we've created multi-user functionality within the browser. So let's go ahead and teach him how to make a multi-music player. Ooh, he's looking into getting some front-end dev. Here, why don't you change this to all Fs?
All Fs?
All Fs.
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm standing over here to prove that I'm not touching the computer.
I can't change it. So, let me go out. So basically the issue we're running into right now is that the internet, a bunch of ports were actually blocked. So we're on my data, and the problem is it's super slow. But as you can see, on my computer, I edited it, and on his computer, it showed up. So the intent behind this is that a mentee can show a mentor in real time making changes. And as I am the student, I can understand and pick apart different things. I can show him, hey, what does doing the F do on your computer to understand how changes work? So I'm gonna go back and make some other changes.
Oh, so now you want to learn more about CRMs? Sure,
Yeah, I'd love to
front-end
learn about
developer.
CRMs. So, what does the Marketing Hub mean? What does that do?
Why don't you try and click it?
Sick.
So the technology actually behind all of this is this concept called VNC. Any of you gamers probably are familiar with it. But basically, we're rendering a screen on a remote computer and then just letting both users interact with that one desktop. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it.
Thanks so much, Knowledge Society team. I now know what Paul was talking about. So last but not least, we are welcoming the bits to the stage. And this is the last presentation of the day. So start thinking about what some of your favorite presentations are, because we'll be making an announcement about how to vote following the bits presentation. Oh, Team Bits, sorry. Okay, without further ado, welcoming Team Bits to the stage.
Hey guys, we're Team Bits, and these are our team members in Team Bits. Today I want to talk to you guys about transportation. Are you guys aware that Americans actually spend an average of 17,600 minutes driving each year? And if there's one thing we have to agree on is that the public transit in Toronto sucks, right? So public transit generally takes longer, and people spend time walking, biking, so there's actually a lot of time spent just getting from places to places. And this is a great opportunity for us to connect. Technical difficulty.
Can we just
Next
press
slide.
the button to go to the next slide?
Yes, like I said, this is great. We can leverage this time to connect. And introducing our app, Bon Voyage. So first of all, you can use our app to navigate to your destination. But more importantly, you're allowed to sign in through social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, and Google+. Oh wait, nobody uses Google+. And while you're navigating, it will try to match you with someone from your social cycle. Let's say the person you're following, or your friends on Facebook, or the Facebook groups that you've joined. And you guys can meet at a rendezvous point of interest. Say you both like coffee, then maybe you guys can meet up at a coffee shop. or if you both joined a reading group, then you guys can meet at the library. And then you guys can both head to your destination together. And meanwhile, you have the great chance to talk and socialize and bond. And this ensures you not only have a bon voyage, but also a bond voyage. And there's two major benefits of our app. One is safety, and Cincy is gonna talk to us more about this.
So there is an article on New York Times saying that two university students, they don't feel safe walking at night on the campus or back to their home. So they just walk together. And same thing for me, I don't feel walking alone at night is very safe. So I think a lot of people are the same as me and the two girls in the news. So this video is showing...
Make sure somebody knows you're leaving. Tell a friend or tell the attendant at the front of the library to buddy up with someone.
Would you like to walk with me to my car?
Just ask, is anybody going out to the parking lot?
Yeah, so this video is showing that the police on the campus are suggesting that students can go walk together to their home just for safety purpose. So this can be also one of the features in our app, just to make sure people walk together to make them feel safer.
And next, you can use our app to expand your social cycle. Let's say you joined LoveCat 3000 on Facebook, indexers, or anti-vaxxers, and you're able to stay connected with more anti-vaxxers, let's say, while you guys head towards your destination together, because how else are you going to get those elusive proofs that vaccination causes autism, right? Please don't take me seriously, though.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about how the app's going to work. So the first thing that's going to happen is after you log into the app and you set your destination, the app's going to find you a match of a person that's in your social circle on one of the platforms that Z was mentioning, that's heading in the same direction as you to the same general destination. And once you enter it, you're going to wait, and if there's somebody, it's going to match you with them. The next step is that you're going to meet your match midway to your destination. So it calculates a general meeting region, and then each user has a set of common interests, and our app's, the back end is going to find common interests and map these common interests to places of interest around your general meeting region, and that's going to assign you the place where you're going to meet them. This is good because not only is it not just sending you to a random spot on the street, but it also might give you a topic of conversation for your walk. And the last step is that once you guys have met up, you're going to travel together to your destinations. So yeah, you get to your meeting point, you verify that you've met your match, and then you head on your way. In the future, so things that we think this could be expanded to would be that we could specify trusted users. So for example, for the safety aspect, there might not be everybody on your friends list on Facebook that you want to walk around downtown Toronto with at night. So you could specify the specific people that you think that would be okay with. And you could also match multiple users. So let's say you're heading to a concert and you think it'd be fun to walk to the concert with 10 people instead of just one other person. Then that's another avenue that we could explore.
There's a few index core values that I want to highlight. First, being care. We care about our users. So by using our app, you don't have to venture alone at night at sketchy areas. Let's say the Dufferin Street at the Wingo office at night. It's not that bad, right? And next I want to highlight is diversity. Doesn't matter if you love cat or hate cat, if you're anti-vaxxer or pro-vaccine. It allows you to stay connected with like-minded people and have meaningful conversation while you guys had towards your destination together. And now our live demo, fingers crossed.
The page you are seeing right now is the login page. So we can have different login options. You can choose, for example, Instagram, which will link you to the Instagram page and ask you for authentication to get the interest based on your Instagram information. And we can also leverage other social media, for example, Facebook and other, for example, like they mentioned, if Google Plus still exists. And we can also use a login page on the web itself. And by clicking on the sign in, it will lead you to the main page, which is the map. And in this map, for example, we want to have an example. So the default start point is your current location, but we can also change it to some random address. I will let Amy decide which location I want to be from, and then we can enter the destination location. So once I hit the go button, it will first show my route to the destination by without matching any user, but it will keep checking with the backend whether there is a user want to go to the same place. So as you can see, this green route is the original route. And after a user is matched, you can see that Sean, our team member, is matched with me. And the icon of Sean and username and all the common interests we share will be displayed on the banner. And you can also see the start point of the other person, and you can also see where is the meeting point, which is the conversation icon. And based on the interest you guys have in common, you can start talking once you arrive at the meeting point, and you guys can walk all the way down to the destination and have a nice talk. And that's it for the demo.
Thank you, guys. With Timbits and Bon Voyage, never venture alone.
Thank you, Team Bits. That was our final presentation. Audience, you've been great. For those who are tuned in, engaged on the live stream, we love you. We miss you. And we just saw 10 amazing presentations and projects. So can we give a big round of applause to all of our hackathon teams and our finalists? You're amazing. Now, the time has come to vote, and you can only pick one. I know you want to pick many, but you can only pick one. And I don't make the rules. It is what it is. But to me, by the way, you're all winners. So, yeah, that's right. I love you all. This is great. So, what's going to happen now is we're going to take a break, and the voting is going to commence. So for indexers, there's going to be a link shared on the IX_hackathon Slack channel. If you're not there yet, then I don't know what you've been doing this whole time. And for our external friends, you're going to be receiving an email from hackathon@indexexchange.com. Check your spam folders and everything, just in case if you get nothing.
Awesome. So for a refresher on the teams, head over to our website, codeconnects.us, if you need a refresher on what the team's presentations were, an overview. Don't forget to vote. We'll be meeting back here in about 1 hour at 2 p.m. after lunch. So everyone out there watching on the live stream, don't forget to submit your vote. all of the TKS folks, don't forget to submit your vote. We're looking forward to announcing the winner of Hackathon 2019. Code connects us.
Thank you.